Hello and welcome to another episode of the Weed and Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, the Rebel Professor Ryan Barton Lash, the eccentric enigma, along with my co-host, Laniya. And we are here to catch up on some Monday Night Raw from April 7th of 2025 here. Whoops, I
must say I can't see you.
Bringing up my notes now.
Awesome.
Which I didn't mark down where this one takes place. I guess this is they're back in America, I think, at this point.
It's the Georgina Dallas.
Oh, okay.
Georgiana, I'm sorry.
Right on.
My bad.
Yep, but yeah, we got a lot to cover on this episode here. A whole lot. Starts out with one of the more useless segments of the night. Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, and Bianca Belair's signing promo. Which I made a note because my mom had came into the room to smoke with me while I was coming on, and she said Rhea Ripley looks like a man.
I mean, she's a little masculine, but it happens.
Yeah. I just thought it was funny. I was like, yeah, that man can kick your ass.
But, as most good.
But yeah, Adam Pearce says the obvious. Bianca's tough and is fine with being tough. She tells Rhea to shut up and pushes her, and Rhea shoves Io, and Io does a missile drop kick. Basically the gist.
Yeah.
It sometimes the signing promos and stuff are just unnecessary, and they've just been doing so much unnecessary stuff with this, you know.
I mean, they didn't have to continue the signing promo with them. They could have just cut it out and announced the match.
Yeah, but they had to have their spot, so I gave it a 2 because that was a pretty sweet missile drop kick.
It was a great way to open. I gave it 4 altogether because, I mean, I just didn't want to see basically the same thing, another iteration of the same thing.
Yep.
But it was cute. It was a great way to open, so.
Yeah. But, and we get Judgment Day promo here, to where Finn, talks some shit, and says, Dom ain't got the killer instinct. Well, that people think he doesn't have the killer instinct and that he's a loser, but he can prove him wrong. And Carlito makes mention of Mall of America being the largest mall in America. I gave it a 3. Pretty useless.
I mean, I'm not going to complain about them anymore. 0.
Yep, fair enough. Yep, and now finally on to something useful, which is a match I got on in the background right now, is Bayley versus Lyra Valkyria for the Intercontinental title. This is a really, really great match. It just good struggling wrestling start. And just, I wasn't able to, just go into details on the notes other than just saying that, they're wrestling a good wrestler's match. That's what the first, 5 minutes of that match was just them just hold after hold after hold, just wrestling, being very technical.
Yeah,
then
I agree.
Then we get a great knee to the face. And then we get a move I haven't seen before, the Irish swing.
Yeah, that was big.
Yeah, that was cool. And I made note the Irish swing is kinky as fuck.
I mean, it took a while to get it together, which kind of annoyed me.
Mm-hmm.
I think it could have been smoother, but altogether it was a nice move when it was all presented and finished.
Yeah. Then we get a big baseball slide kick. Then Bailey to belly to the outside of the ring. Which their struggles and everything leads to them almost getting counted out. Then get a sweet arm drag counter from Lyra, and then she does this like twisting power bomb that was really good looking. And then a running me kick out. She did this like cool like running little trick that they called the running me. And there was a kick out from there. Then a great sunset flip. And then I've noticed this has kind of become a little signature of Lyra's of doing a running tornado DDT to a fisherman suplex. And which is great because she does both of them very fucking good.
Yeah, she's very skillful in the move.
Yeah.
So I'm liking it.
And then you get this really cool Boston Crab that she eventually that Bailey gives up on, and then they do a cool little roll up finish out onto there, and Lyra gets the win on that one, and Bailey was hesitant to give the like show of respect afterwards, but she eventually came through, which because these two, despite their match, they're going to be wrestling in the women's tag gauntlet match, which we'll review on the next episode about that.
Yeah. Well, they're lucky Vince isn't there because he would have been pissed that they embraced each other at the end.
Yeah.
I think it's right. I think showing that they have that companionship and the good sportsmanship, I think that's great. I think that makes a great storyline for later, whatever way they take it. So
absolutely, yeah. But I gave the match a 7. Thought it was a very good match.
I actually gave it 8.5. I liked it. The grappling back and forth and the headshots, in the beginning, they played off very well. And I like that, when they definitely played off well. And that's what we really need. So,
yeah, absolutely. Yep. Then we get a super pointless American-made Alpha Academy promo with Bert Kreischer. And Bert Kreischer's shirt has to come off. And yeah, that's 0. No point in that.
Yeah, it was really a why is this here moment.
Yeah,
so if I did less than 0, I would.
I mean, they do give us Jackie Redmond in a really great yellow leather dress. That I will say that I'm only seeing that because I'm seeing the promo now. And it's like,
I mean, but the worst part was nothing else that couldn't even be a filler and give it a better score. Because the dress is gorgeous, she is gorgeous. Everything else was just like, why is this connected to that?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, why Bert Kreischer? But I pretty much always say that, like, why Bert Kreischer for anything? I don't find the man very funny. And yeah. I mean, I'm okay with give Otis all the airtime in the world. So
I love Otis. I love him.
I love Otis. So give him all the airtime. It's like, why did American Made even need to be there? Like, they could have just had Bert Kreischer and Otis just rip off shirts. That would have gotten a 10 for me. They just would have cut to that.
Oh, it definitely. I totally agree with that. Yeah. Totally agree.
Then we get AJ Styles Karrion Kross promo. Where Karrion basically boils it down to if AJ loses, that we all lose, and how they think they got him, which we'll end up bringing that back up when we talk about uh, next week's episode of Raw, because this leads to them having a match set up for each other.
Yeah, and I'm gonna save my opinion, which
Mhm.
my opinion on them till next week because it's more fitting for
Yeah,
that.
for sure. Same here, but yeah, just gave it a 5 because it
Scandalous.
did what it needed to do. Um, and
It was a great connection. Over.
yep, and then we get LWO versus American Made, along with El Grande Americano. And yeah, there was a spear start to this match. And a bunch of tag-ins were placed well. They were keeping the pace really good from the start. Then there was spinning head scissors. Then there was some massive corner pops. Then we got the triple senton and triple suplex, which that kind of stuff I have like my problems with. Then it's kind of then I feel doing stuff like that is breaking kayfabe almost. To where it's just like, okay, really, like we're gonna have it timed out to where one team does senton each of them, then the other team is gonna come back with fucking superplexes. It's just kind of
I mean, I think it's fun. I think it keeps it, fast motion, and I think that's what they wanted.
yeah,
Uh, like that's just it was a fun it was a fun match. So I think that's what they wanted. They're keeping it, light, not too heavy.
yeah.
So
Then then we get an ad break from that, and I would say after the ad break, the match definitely picks up, better. Dragon Lee does his Tree of Woe stomp, which that shit just looks so awesome.
it does. He's so like skilled. I love
Yeah,
him.
Dragon
Like
Lee is terrific. Um, and then hot tag to Cruz del Toro, and then he gets a hot tag moves to fast swanton, and then to rolling suicide dive. And one thing that I feel that they really need to do, especially with these other LWO guys, like if I didn't hear his name get told right then, I would not know who that is.
no. No, they definitely fade into the background. I know like three of their names, if that.
Yeah.
Like
And it's Cruz del Toro and Joaquin. Which I'm glad that they said the names because those two were the real big standouts of this match. Everything those two did was really great. They did the Great Doomsday Blockbuster, then had the sit out powerbomb pin that was interrupted by a shooting star press, and then Joaquin got a giant senton, and then a great twisting crossbody from Cruz. And then we got the loaded mask, part thrown into where El Grande Americano gets his mask loaded up with a metal plate up into it, and he uses a flying headbutt finish to finish the match there. And yeah, just I'd say the match did well for what it was. I gave it a 5. I mostly want to see. I want to see Joaquin and Cruz del Toro. I like why have they not been getting pushed? Like I get it. You got Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee, but you set up Rey and El Grande Americano. Like why are these two like really good guys just kind of be like they haven't even been in the contendership for the tag team titles?
And you know something? I said that before about LWO when I was like, Rey Mysterio should not be the person holding up the team.
Yeah,
You know, why is he the only only name we're hearing? You know, why are they only pushing him? Like, they should make it a point to bring the other people up, and it's not necessarily the guys themselves. It's
yeah,
WWE again doing their thing and burying people one by one. But I think Cole jumping in made that I like Cole being excited. Like, this is crazy as hell. That made me really excited. I love Michael Cole.
hmm
I don't care what it says about him. But again, this is definitely need more of them. Pull them out as a tag team because they are very skilled. They're showing their skills more and more, and we shouldn't have Rey Mysterio being the one called up like he's the one,
yeah,
the pillar of the team. There are such skilled people in there.
yeah. That's like that's the whole point of
Hmm.
even having this faction is to push these other three guys. Rey Mysterio's a living legend. He doesn't need LWO. He doesn't, and LWO
Like,
and LWO needs him, and he just needs to be down there at ringside for these two guys. That's really what he needs to do. Um, but yeah, moving on. I gave the match a 5. What you give it?
I gave it a 6.5
6.5.
because we are seeing them. We're seeing more of them in the ring, but we need to see more of that.
Yeah, agreed. Next up, we got something that I couldn't take a lot of notes on just because it wouldn't do it justice. We got the Jey Uso and Gunther face-to-face promo, and man, Jay, finally, we got the Jay character that we need.
Absolutely.
They've done a really good job of dehumanizing him, of breaking him down to his last bearings, to where, I mean, just the fact that he started out the whole thing. You got a mom, but you got a mom, right? But
I just laughed hysterically because I love drama again. I was like, "Ooh, it's about to go down."
yeah.
I was all for it.
But it just the way he broke everything down. I mean, just not knocking the mic out and knocking the mic out of Gunther's hand, and then just saying everything he did. I couldn't really take notes. I just took the note of like, you got a mom, and then past that, Jay deserves an award. Um, I haven't seen this good a promo work from him since when he left the Bloodline.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Uh, th-
the all black and seriousness, they really pulled it off well. I like it.
yeah.
You know,
Um,
the
I
whole
gave it a
blood.
10. It was everything that needed to make the character main event Jey Uso in that promo.
And I absolutely gave it a 10 also. And I'm glad you went there because this would have been one. If you didn't give it a 10, I would argue with you. I would have definitely argued. But like, this is what we've been asking for.
Yeah,
These are things we need to, set up WrestleMania. So if you give it anything less, this definitely been our first argument.
yeah. It was everything that his character needed to become, and their whole story build up. I mean, from the assault, on Jimmy to this, to just having it broken down like this. I mean, it's been
Look, the blood for that was amazing
it's
from
oh
Jimmy.
oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah, the that whole setup, that whole bit, that's been the best story period going into WrestleMania now.
yeah. Yep.
And
Yep.
and the fact that CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns are main event night one, and Jimmy and Jay, I mean Jay and Gunther aren't, is pretty big tragedy, honestly. Um, I get it.
Uh,
They're the three main names. Yes, but how are you gonna name a guy main event Jey Uso and not give him the main event?
I, they're just so much. They're just so much about CM Punk being there at all. Um,
Yeah,
I don't know.
like I
I don't
had
know.
no problem with I had no real problem with their whole story up until it's like, okay, they're main eventing night one, so that means that what? Or, I mean, if the thing with last year's WrestleMania is they pulled it off with Seth. You got to think Seth worked 3 fucking matches that weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Um and so it made sense for his match to open on day 2. Because night 1 and we still have everything else. That made sense then. But Gunther I think is more than enough of a name at this point, and has gained enough recognition that look, this is the new generation era, and we are now putting up like a guy who I don't. How old is Punk? He's like 51, isn't he?
I was about to say like 49
Yeah.
ish, 53. I don't know. He's old. He's older than me, and I'm almost 40, so you're like
Yeah,
ancient.
but you're also not stealing the spot at WrestleMania. Um,
And like the biggest problem is that what exactly they're doing with Punk, they could be doing with Knight. And that's what pisses me off the most.
yeah,
Like, they don't have to keep dragging him. After the bracelet thing, they should have ended with him.
yeah,
Why is he even still popping up? I don't get it. He doesn't need to be there. He needs to be pulling other people up at this point. And I don't like CM Punk. I'm not a huge fan. He's not Judgment Day, so
yeah,
he's not a zero all the time.
yeah,
But it just doesn't make sense that, like, it doesn't make sense. Even dragging Orton out for, like, when they do for his matches makes so much more sense. The CM Punk even being there at all
yeah.
for anything. He could be commentator. He's really not a good commentator. I'm sorry I said that.
Yeah, but yeah, and then again, just now, they are hogging away from what should be the main event of night 1. This great story between Jay and Gunther, and
Yeah, at that point, that's what CM Punk does, though. He takes away from other people's bottom line. I think like that's the character he is, like, and that's the only way I can see him
yeah,
being valid, honestly.
well, like another thing that he stole away from the first All In at Wembley. There, Adam Cole, Bebe, and MJF put on, to me, one of the greatest matches of all time. Um,
Yep,
those two
that's solid.
legitimately retold 50 years of wrestling in that match. It was incredible. I've never seen anything like it. I don't think you'll ever see anything like it again. And the only headline was CM Punk and getting fucking fired.
And that's why I can't stand him.
Yep.
And I don't know why. I don't know why it constantly comes out to that, but it shouldn't be the shine on him, especially when he's around such amazing new wrestlers constantly.
Yeah. And Jay deserves this. I'm on the Yeet train to a degree. We'll bring up the Yeet train again next week.
Yeah, definitely will. Definitely
Yeah.
will.
But otherwise, I gave that a 10. That was that was just one of the best promos possible.
Mm.
And next up, we got New Day versus the War Raiders for the tag team titles.
This was not a 10. This is not a 10.
Yeah, no, definitely not a 10. But still, we get Tony Hitchcliffe doing guest commentary on this match, which I'm a huge Tony Hinchcliffe fan. I watch Kill Tony all the time. Just watched the latest episode earlier today and stuff. Really looking forward to his roast at WrestleMania there, because he is just a verbal destroyer of people.
Absolutely agree.
But yeah, so there was a great start to the match. In between them, but I did make note Tony is distracting from the excellent match.
Totally.
His commentary was making me laugh, distracting me from what was going on. But there was a big crash into the barrier, and we get an ad break from there. Great tag in with a big slam, and then the War Machine lands, but the pin's broken up. And we get a chair DQ finish. And then big chair shot. And then a smash into the corner. Then Ivar gets sent over the barrier, and then they were trying to do this neck breaker thing with the chairs and stuff, but that got broken up, thankfully. And but this was the most vicious that New Day actually looked as this New Day. And I liked it.
I liked it. I liked it. The chair on Eric's neck was chef's kiss. Chef's kiss.
Yeah.
But altogether, it was sloppy.
Yeah.
It was sloppy. You know.
And that more has to, I kind of feel, have to do with knowing that they were going to finish the way that they were going to finish. That they weren't going to get a full match out of it. Still, for what the match was, I still think it was good. Gave it a 5.5.
Yeah, I give it a 5 actually. I like the cannonballs though. Ivar's cannonballs were solid. Those had me like, ooh, those are nice. I like those. Those I really pointed those out. I was like, that's the only thing they really did that stood out to me.
Yeah, for sure. All right, and then the next match that we get is Penta versus Dirty Dom. Yeah. What a interesting match this is.
I wanted more. It was poopy.
Get a generally heelish start from Dirty Dom there, which I loved. Just because that kid has really worked out the mechanics of being a heel, I think, better than anybody out there right now. Because it's just it's in his movements and his lack thereof.
I mean, he's a literal child of the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
So that's like he was put into the all the them working out. I can't think, but since he was like literally a child that grew up in Attitude Era and got to work in that era, he takes a lot of that with him.
Yeah.
And I think you're starting to see that more and more now.
And he's getting tighter and tighter every single match.
Yeah, definitely.
Where he is, I mean, he has I think, what, in 20, I think in 2024, yeah, I think he wrestled the most matches.
I wouldn't be shocked. He was everywhere.
Yeah.
2024, so.
Yeah, so, great generally heelish stall, and then there's a Hurricane Rana that picks up pace, and then great crossbody to the outside. We get an ad break. When we come back from that, though, we get a Three Amigos to a kick out. Then Penta does sweet-ass handstand kick. Fucking...
Yeah.
some of the shit that man does. His brother too, man. His brothers just they're his brothers just like him, but not. They they
Yeah,
they
yeah,
are both to a level of entertainment um that I can't say I've seen those two wrestle the same match. Um, they
yeah. I definitely agree.
they come from good stock. Um,
Trained well, trained well.
yeah, they come from good stock. Um, and we get a Mexican destroyer, and then we get a week 619 with and then knees to the gut for a frog splash. Um, and then he does the sacrifice arm, um, which I'm glad that they gave that a name. Um, just because it's just like what wicked arm breaker, like it makes me feel Boston saying it. Like, give him wicked arm breaker. But sacrifice arm breaker, and then we get the penta driver for the finish. Then Carlito comes in and attacks, and then Braun Breaker comes out. Ooh, boy. Braun Breaker not only comes out, he delivers the most ungodly spear I think has ever been seen. Like,
They're just putting him into the Steiner position. That's all they're doing. That's all they're doing. I just see baby Steiner.
it works. It works because
I mean, yeah, oh
oh
yeah,
my
he's good
god,
at what he does.
because
He's obviously trained by
he
them,
he like
but like,
he like went up into the air. Like they went up into the air a good like around 6 feet, and he like almost flips his way out of that spear. Like, what a freak, man! Like anytime he pulls off one of these things, it's just a crazy, just crazy.
he's super skilled. Yeah.
And then we get the the spirited Dom, and then the double spear to them, and then a spear to Penta. Before Finn Balor comes in and does a sling blade and rolls out before getting speared. Um, all in all, though, I'd say for being a shorter match, it was a good match. I gave it a 6.
Yeah, I gave it 5.5, and I got really the best line the whole thing. If Dom is doing it's a toilet destroyer, that just made me happy, and that was it.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, from there to finish out the night, we get the Paul Heyman Seth freaking Rollins promo. Um, uh, and then Paul talks about how he'll always be loyal to Roman Reigns and to CM Punk, and then Seth comes out and Seth wants to know whose side Paul is on, and that Roman's left Paul behind. And then he wants to know how much is his safety worth to him. Starts doing these great little pushes to him and how he wants to remove him from the situation personally. Then Punk comes out, and then we end up getting that whole big stomp on him, and then Seth pulls out of doing the stomp onto Paul, and then tells him, "Now you owe me a favor." And yeah, uh, I'm wondering even, and that's the thing is, even when we talk about the follow up promo to this, I'm still wondering where exactly it's going. Like it's the Cultaholic Wrestling has called it perfectly, where they're calling it the Paul Heyman on a pole match.
You know, I mean, you don't know what's going. I liked it. I already said my 4 cents about Punk.
Yeah,
I mean, it was good though. It was great. I think it was really solid. I gave this a 7 because it really built up a lot of, anticipation, actually, curiosity. Like, oh, what actually doing with this? Dun, dun, dun,
yeah, yeah. I gave it 7 as well.
Awesome.
Um, but otherwise, that wraps up Monday Night Raw here from April 7th, 2025.
Yeah, we're well on the road to
Yeah,
WrestleMania
it,
together.
it it is this weekend, which we still gotta get ourselves caught up on a couple other videos here, but we're gonna try to um do something for the weekend. We haven't figured that out yet. We're
We
we're
will do
we're
something.
definitely gonna be giving some
Something will be
reviews
done.
back and everything, and maybe we'll do like a little like pre episode um
Maybe.
to it. I guess we got the SmackDown or everything. So maybe if we act good and just record late Friday night, we can just like nail it out in a review and preview.
Maybe. We'll
Maybe
see
we'll see,
together, guys.
folks. We'll see. But
Smash that
otherwise, like,
like and share,
subscribe,
guys.
share if you will. It helps us out a lot. And
Definitely.
and otherwise, you have yourself a good one.